I'd like to introduce us to the big four. Turn with me to Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10. Paul is writing to the church in Ephesus and he's telling them, finally, he has written about so many things. He has written to parents, he has written to children, he's telling them how they need to live with each other. He's written to, slaves. He has told them how they need to live with their masters. He has also written to the masters, telling them how they need to treat their slaves. And he concludes by saying, finally, verse 10, finally be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. For your struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Praise the Lord. So there, we are meeting the big four. The first one is principalities, ama ukipenda, rulers. As Paul is telling us in verse 12. He's saying our struggle is not against flesh and blood. KDF wanaenda kufight nini? Al-Shabaab, who are flesh and blood. But your combat and my combat is not flesh and blood. Paul is writing to this church and he's telling them, you need to be strong in the Lord. You need to be strong in the Lord because the war that you're going to fight, the battle that you're going to be engaged in, is not against flesh and blood, but it's against principalities. So the first one, the first of the big four, the first one is principalities. And he's telling them, for our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against rulers. Rulers are principalities. These are spirits which have been given power. They are conferred with authority. They are able to do things. And by then the people who think that the devil yani ni kamtu kako powerless, unaweza kagonga right, left and center, alikucheat. So the good news is that in as much as we are fighting against rulers of this world, the good news is this: Jesus died on the cross and he made a public spectacle of Satan. Ndio ako na nguvu, lakini nguvu yake iko limited. Na iko limited because the one who is in us is greater than him. Is greater than Satan. And no wonder, because he's in us, he lives in us, he's greater than the one who is against us. Praise the Lord. And so, as children of God, Paul is writing to us and he's telling us, look here, your life is going to have battles, it's going to have warfare. But in as much as there will be all this warfare, you need to be strong in the Lord. Praise the Lord. Amen. You need to be courageous. You need to stand firm. Then he says, again the second one, it's against the authorities. Against authorities.